Okay, here we go. Fundamentals is basically the basics of data visualization and information design. Here we go. Using information design as data visualization to effectively communicate project ideas and results. Data visualization is it's basically represented data in forms of graphs, charts, or any other visual formats that communicates relationship of data in terms of maybe specific data points, maybe in time or in percentages or in different categories of whichever data you're trying to communicate. This is basically a breakdown of the raw data from big piles and piles of documents into simple graphs and charts to kind of give a broader picture to, it is presented to basically to how all these small tiny pieces of data come together to just give you a broad image of something you need to maybe analyze more, or something you just need to create a story from. It is raw, it is unrefined, it is simply put out there that, oh, this is the data that was collected, and here you have it. This is how it can be best presented or best viewed. It does enable one to see the trends and patterns easily, which is one of the biggest roles of what data visualization is. When you finally get all this information from the tables and you basically put it in a few colors, a few pie charts, a few line graphs, and you can see patterns of whichever data or whichever information you would be looking for. That is plainly what data visualization is. And for information design, on the other hand, it is the practice of presenting information in a way that makes it most accessible and easily understood by the users. It's basically a conclusion of a certain data set that has been analyzed already, and you have all this information. You have this conclusion already drawn, you have this picture of what you want to communicate to the audience, and then you design it in line with your target audience. You design it to suit your target audience, how they would take it in easier, other than having maybe bar graphs sent to your audience. You get to understand how your audience can basically eat this information up, how it can consume this information. So in this way, it is more of a clarification after you've studied all the data. The specific audiences, it targets the specific audiences by organizing and simplifying information in ways that can quickly grasp. It is just have this information. It is right here. We've already done the hard part of deducing. We've done the part of analyzing. We have picked the story. Now we're just presenting the story. So that is the difference. One is really unrefined, and the other is refined and follows a pattern to the dot. So we'll move on to the next slide, where we do have a basic small illustration of what the differences between data visualization and information design is. So on one hand, I actually chose to use these small vector images up here, just to kind of give you an appearance of what the broad image of data visualization is and information design. Here we have something basically made for presentation. It is just raw data being presented. Yeah, this is what we collected, and here you go. On the other hand, we have something that is neatly being stacked, like maybe in a news journal, in in the magazine, things like that. So the very first point is the purpose. What is the purpose of both of these data techniques? The first one is data visualization. We do have raw data that has not been designed with a purpose. That is just plainly raw data. It is just presented after the study. Here is the data set. And with the information design, it is data used as a storytelling tool. It's data with a purpose. It is the data that has been infused or that is being used to simply highlight to highlight the story behind the data that you collected, but in this case it has been analyzed and now it does have a purpose of storytelling. As for the viewer, the role data visualization plays that it permits the viewer to make their own conclusions. When a viewer is given the raw data, the raw facts of what happened in a study, they are simply being given the freedom to interpret it whichever way that it makes sense to them. But for information design, we want to guide the viewer about the specific data set and its specific parts. And we do get to highlight the few points that we're going to leave out the negligible patterns and we focus on the ones that really hit the point. We move on to the next one in terms of design. We have the data visualization here. It is data organized in a way that inspired a distinctive reaction. It is simply like I stated earlier, this data is given to you to pick your mind a little, to get to understand what you see in the data, how can you use that data. It is raw, it is simply being given to you, so that it evokes a reaction. While on the other hand, this, in terms of design, this data is simply presented in a snackable kind of format, in a format that can simply be consumed. It is ready to share with your audience that you want to engage with. In terms of the conclusion for both of them, for the side of data visualization, we have data that can be ever evolving. It can be ever evolving with new data added regularly. So you could see maybe, I think many of you have had the opportunity to look into coronavirus updates with data visualization techniques on different websites, and those daily updates on the number of cases, number of infections, the people who have unfortunately died, and the people who have survived, many others who are maybe prone to the disease. That is regular data. And since this is the data visualization tool is simply there to give you all the collective data that is being collected straight from the field, it is ever changing, data is added regularly. It is why it serves its purpose, like it is there to simply get your reaction. You can study it in real time. While on the other hand, for information design, the data there the conclusions have already been made for the data. So a certain piece of data set has been studied and has been designed then to finally bring down the point of this is the journal, this is the catalog, or this is the infographic that has the information about maybe what happened to the coronavirus patients in March. It might not have an ever evolving effect to it, because you have to pick kind of static data to study over time, and you have to maybe cut it down to, if, for instance, you're dealing with coronavirus cases, you might have to deal with a month-to-month basis, maybe talk about the effects in March, talk about the effects in April, May, but having to do with real-time data tracking, a little better with that. We'll move on to the next slide, basically now digging into data visualization and so on. In short, it's simply data viz, because it's a mouthful, trust me. It is raw data visualized in a way that permits the viewer to make their own conclusions. It has the ability to always evolve with new data and information being updated regularly, and provides analysis, and also is open to viewers having personal conclusions derived from specific points in time, and can be organized in ways that inspire distinctive reaction. Basically, a roundup of everything. This information is what we've already gone through, so I simply collected it here because I need to share this document with every single one of you at the end of this tutorial. This is data visualization displays measured quantities by use of points, lines, shapes, letters, and digits, all quantified by visual attributes. So it is general, it has no context whatsoever, and it can be automatically generated. On the other hand, we have information design. Information design is simply data used as a storytelling tool. Information design is more about informing the viewer about a data set and its specific parts. So these the specific parts I was talking about, like the ones that the analysts have taken an interest to, the ones that really stand out of the whole data set. They can pick these specific ones that created a very vivid pattern to then design that information to be consumed. And the other data, whereas negligible, is also important. It is why we do have both parts of information design and in database, so that people can dig back into the data visualization to pick on maybe anything that they could have missed. It has conclusions derived already and is simply being presented in a consumable design. Information design goes hand in hand with user experience design. The information must be presented in a clear, concise manner to aid users' navigation through it without confusing or overwhelming them. So information design is a visual representation of information, data, and knowledge, often used to support information, strengthen it, present it with a sensitive context. It is specific, yes. It has a context to it, and it's often handcrafted, because as I already told you, information design is inspired by data visualization. So what it means here by handcrafted is every single one of us is going to pick a certain interest in the data set from the data visualizations. So you might not all have a common ground on what you'd like to present, but at the end of it all, every single one of you can pick their own kind of information to deliver here in the information. So that's why it's often handcrafted. You won't find a lot of information or searchable information in the side of information design. So we do continue with the common misconceptions. Basically, these are simply a few things that confuse us. These are two closely related terms, and they often do confuse. So here we do have a pretty blurry line between the two, because you normally find them sharing that term, which isn't like wrong at all, because in most cases you do find that in our day-to-day infographics, in our day-to-day infographics, we do interchange information design and data visualization, and we use it hand in hand. So in most cases, we're going to find how can I call it? We're going to find a mashup of this. So here is the tricky part. Infographics, yes, as I've said, they're technically a type of information visualization, but they can also include a data visualization in them. So data visualization can look like an infographic in terms of design parameters and also analytics, dashboards. I think many of these, you've seen them, most especially in times like maybe of these coronaviruses where you need to have, where there has been a lot of information being shared and you just want to go pick different data sets from different websites. Maybe you've met some of these dashboards. Many of them are data visualizations, but if they are good looking, they can be considered information design as well. So the apparent confusion is very common and an acceptable mishap, because there is even a term that's derived that actually the term that covers both of those two in one. It's just information visualization. So that is like their big category. Like if you're to use both of them hand in hand, you can simply have the entire term as information visualization. The main differences, sorry about that. The main difference here is information design tells a story or answers, whereas data visualization makes users find their own story and answer. But the relationship is they can both be static, animated, and interactive. This I think we'll get to discover more about this when we get to the specific examples I would like to highlight towards maybe the middle of this tutorial. Here we do have why data visualization and information design. This I've mostly talked about a lot of this. I've given you the information about this. I've basically given you the relationship. This is also information I would simply like you to have at the end of the session. So I'm keeping it here just in case. We can now go on to the storytelling part. And these are some of our favorite visualizations here at Policy, and I think for those who are with us in the first data viz WhatsApp discussion, these might ring a bell. Data storytelling is the process of creating a narrative out of data analysis findings, allowing laymen to understand the possibility of complex insights so as to make informed decisions or actions. This is when you try to pick patterns and relationships in data that you've collected, and you try to break them down for the layman, because this data science environment is a little complex for every single one of us at different levels. It is a broad kind of topic that we do have some challenges understanding each single one of them. So when you bring in data storytelling into something like information visualization, which is the big category that houses data visualization and information design, you make it easier to understand, because you're basically now learning your audience first and then getting to know how to interact with them, how to tell them a story. So I think one of the visuals, these are case studies that you may go look out for. I'll share a link for Afrobarometer. Is this simple one? This visual from Afrobarometer made via infographic shows polls from citizens on who they think is the most corrupt in Tunisia from the year 2018. This is a simple kind of breakdown. It's a simple question. It's more like a poll a poll kind of question. It is simply asking, oh, who is corrupt? And then they have their small category of people maybe they would like to refer to. And yeah, we have the polls coming in from the citizens, and then it is presented in such a way to kind of have a view of what the citizens think about their leaders or their officials and how corrupt they could be. The second case study, this was I think back in the 1800s by this guy was Dr. John Snow, and his use of small bar charts to make the number of cholera deaths to mark the number of cholera deaths at each. Sorry about that. Yeah, so sorry about that. So this is just a few case studies, case 1, case 2. We will share this with you. We do have a few presentations to show you in the future. So we are going to go through this really fast. I'm sorry, time has really limited us. We shall share this presentation with you. You can feel free to go through this, our third case study. As you can see, this is basically data visualization that is also information design. So fourth one, case study 4 is just the Disney movie screenplay dialogues broken down by gender. You can also have a look at this in depth in your own free time. Then you can, whereas these links might not be clickable, you might have to just simply copy paste them. We'll share this with you. We went through a few of these data visualization types, like we have the line chart. This reveals trends, progress, or changes that occur over time. This looks for continuous data sets. So those continuous data sets, we normally have like maybe the weather or like the real-time coronavirus trackings and things like that. The bar graphs is also simple and one of the most common ones. It shows basically comparisons among the different data sets. This is, I think, these two are basic, you understand them clearly. We do have the area chart. It is also based on a line chart and represents graphical quantitative data. Then the bubble chart has shows relationships or distributions, also same as the scatter plot, which we did not share here, but we shared in our discussion earlier on WhatsApp. I will just go through this really fast. We have the pie chart, I think one of the most common ones, commonly used. We have the heat map chart, which is a little complex, but this it's just useful when plotting like large and complex data. And as you can see here, it's mostly a play on hues and the intensity is like colors. When you see maybe a darker red or a lighter red going into an orange, then becoming pale. Yeah, things like that. We do have a word cloud, which basically just gives prominence to words appearing in the source text. Many have used this a lot. We have the scatter plot. Actually, we didn't get to share it here, but yeah, it works almost the same way as the bubble chart. It's plotting different relationships and distributions on the charts. Almost the same thing, but you know, there are some technical things that not all of us understand. We do have a few data visualization tools, and we also shared these back in, I think last month or the other one about data visualization. We shared these. Today, I'll later have a small presentation of Canva and Flourish, I think. No, Canva and Infogram. Anyway, these are the ones you can use. There's Canva, Infogram, Flourish, Graphs, and Google Developer Charts. Feel free to try all of these. They do have more tutorials on YouTube that are more hands-on. So please feel free to try them out. We have the data visualization process. We also shared this earlier. It basically encompasses the overview where you have to understand your data set. We have the zoom and filter where you actually get to go in and pick the interesting subsets of the data you're handling. We have the details on demand where you have to consider maybe on a narrow data set if it's mostly needed in your situation. Represent, just get to represent that. So this is the small basic process of visualization. We do have information design types, like for instance, curated information. Now this is on the part of mostly infographics. Curated information here, as you can tell, it follows a storyline. For instance, infographics, recipe books, etc. Museums and galleries do have curators to select and interpret data about items for collection and display. So most of this, you would find that it's historical content, it is more qualitative data, and it simply needs to be put out as information design. We do have curators in such cases, and they are the ones who get to sort through the importances, or they get to sort through the relationships, they get to sort through the patterns of the information in there, and then they design it for the viewers who do go there for different purposes. We do have searchable information, basically websites, index reports, and all that. Like this can be something as small as going into your Google Drive, your Chrome, and typing in maybe a minute on the internet, and then they'll give you maybe some charts on how much data is shared, how many emails are sent in just 60 seconds, like on average, basically. They're even like spatial relationships in time, for instance, from 2017, 2018, 2019, they get to break them down. So you can actually also use information design to study trends, because you might find more specific data sets that are focused on that. We have educational resources. These are similar to museum exhibits and displays, textbooks, online education portals, and etc. These also do include geographical maps and other items. We have visual and emotive information. It is basically in a snackable way, for instance, an explainer video. These are just the bare basics, how to do something, videos. You've seen also drawings of how to maybe like on Wiki, for instance, and then documentaries. We have wayfinding, for example. We have the physical and digital maps, as I said earlier, but these are more interactive. These are not for education purposes, they're interactive, like maybe for a city center, for hotels, for instance, escape plans, fire exits, all that, touchscreen maps in malls, trail markers in national parks, etc. We have health and safety. These have been common ever since the outbreak of the pandemic that we are dealing with right now. We have the hospital triage apps for a few people who come from more advanced countries. Maybe you've experienced these ones before. Patient medical histories in digital forms. These ones are also upcoming, like maybe the Gene Expert machines and CT scans. We have sensory information and design. This sensory kind of information breaks into another sector called information art. So, I think it's called data art. Music apps, 4D cinematic experiences, then others that are actually used for marketing, like simply like the smell of apple pie purposefully wafting outside of a bakery. We have that kind of, that is also a certain part of information design on its own. So we can move on to information as art. This refers, I think, back to a project we had earlier in 2019 about create your own Kampala. We will share with you this website, so go and check it out. Information art or data artistry is an emerging form of art that combines technical skills and tools to construct and convey compelling stories to your donors, managers, and stakeholders with beautiful and well-presented data. So more on this, we'll give you the link to the website, and just continue straight up. So here are the basic do's and don'ts of now the combined term of data visualization and information design, which is information visualization. Find a story in your data, these are the do's. Find a story in your data, explore, research data, and find a relatable story. These are basically simple things you can do with whichever data set you're dealing with. Learn to organize. For instance, you can explore relationships in data and find the most suitable way to present them. Use data to anchor your narrative. Present your data in a simple and sincere manner. Know your audience. Show, don't tell. This works for data visualization, where you are not allowed to have a bias as the designer of data visualizations. You're simply presenting. So this is good for data visualization. Prioritize patterns and use simple color schemes. This can be for both. And then the third one is always review your data sets as you design these different information visualizations. Do's and don'ts. We are on the don'ts now, where we do not include too much information. As I told you earlier, you can overwhelm your audience with just way too much information, and it might not be as effective. Do not use too many colors. This also goes hand in hand with the too much information. Don't use visualization to beautify bad data. Don't assume that all visualization methods are the same. Also, do not misrepresent data. And I think this is one of the worst you could do, because a lot of people are going to depend on your findings if you're dealing with information design, and they're going to deal with your they're going to handle your earlier data visualizations with the sincerity within which you shared it. So you cannot afford to misrepresent it in any way. Here we do have our final case study. These are the tools we're going to use for a simple chart right here. We shall use this case study to try out a few tools like Canva and Infogram. Here we're going to, for instance, this company XYZ did a survey on a number of malaria cases for 4 months, and then findings show that 12 cases were recorded in January, 24 in Feb, 25 in March, 16 in April. Yeah, basically information being given to us. Everything up here is already in this table. So we're going to switch to our browser, and we check out both Canva and Infogram. These are the two I've chosen because to me they are more appealing, whereas one of them, Infogram, seems to be more of a subscription based, like where you actually do have to pay some money. You can work with the bare minimums of Canva, with the basics. So we're going to share both of these with you. Allow me to switch my presentation to sorry. Okay, here we go. Here we are. Great. So here we found ourselves with our Canva open right here. I already signed in, but it's really easy to sign in. You can simply sign in with your email right there. This is how basic Canva looks looks like. This is how basic Canva looks like as when you log in. We do get our, I did something small here where I have my small table in Google Sheets. I think, let me pick it. Yeah, so this is my small table. This is the information we have, and I simply have to use this data to make a simple bar graph on the other side. It's going to be a stackable graph. Okay, so here we go. Now, here. So here we have our Canva looking just, it looks plain at the beginning, but we do have a few things. I'm sure some of you have used Canva before. They have a few templates for social media, personal business, marketing, education, all that. You get some time and like out of personal initiative and go through each of these one-on-one. But for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm simply going to show you my small. You can just sorry, I didn't let you. We can just go to create our new design here. Open our custom design. Now this can be in any pixels, inches, millimeters, centimeters. I'm more comfortable with centimeters because I understand them better. I want to create a simple square artboard, so I can lock them so that it's just a square, and then I do create my new design. And right over here, I have my my artboard right there selected. When you go to this panel right here, you can see more options. They can ask maybe photos and stuff, but me, I'm looking for just a simple bar graph. So I'll simply go to elements here. You'll see stickers, you'll see a lot of different elements you can use, but I'm just going to pick this stackable chart right here to use. This is simply how it looks like. I've used a simple data set so as not to confuse a lot of us who are simply learning how to visualize data, but feel free to use whichever data set you have, however small, however big. And then here we are. So to edit, I'll simply double click on this. When you double click it, it goes in your edit. It goes in your data editing right here. So this is how our items are laid out here. And as you can tell, these are stackable. If I want to enter our new information in here to be visualized, I can simply go straight up to my items and have to painstakingly deal with one by one, or I can simply go to my right here. They give us supervision to paste straight from my spreadsheet. So I can simply go to my spreadsheets, select all this information, simply copy it, go back to my Canva document and paste it right there. And as soon as I paste it, you can see right here. This is our January, the months, and the malaria cases and all. If these colors are a little bit too close to each other, you could simply go to this color edits and pick a different color that shows a better contrast. But yeah, this is my simple stackable design. Now, as you can tell, since I'm using the basic one, I don't have much leeway but I can manually insert my my information, maybe for the key. So all I've done is basically scale this down, move it a little up here. Go back to my elements, pick a square. The square appears right here. I will scale it down on my side. Bring it right here. And yeah, so this is going to be my small key. Let me make it a little smaller. It's going to be my key just to help tell which are the recovered cases, which are the new cases, you know, something like that. I'm going to pick still on this option side. I'll simply go to text, and you can pick any bit of body you want, maybe subheading, heading, things like that. I'll pick subheading for the purposes of this now. You can move them with these options right down here. This one, you can rotate the piece of information the piece of design you're dealing with, or you can just simply move it down here. Now this is a little big for me. I'll simply go to, sorry, that's too small. Maybe that, move it right here. And I'll simply say, okay, which are my blues? My blues are going to be the malaria cases. Okay, I'll simply come back right in here, select all, and say malaria cases. Sorry, yeah. Once I have this going, increase this a little bit. Once I have this going, I can line them up well here. And now I need to do one for the recovered cases which are in red. Actually, no. Let me flip so that blue maybe signifies the people who have gotten better, and red signifies the people who are sick, the cases. So that's how you change the colors, and then the blue will be my recovered cases. So what I'll do is I'll select these two the way they are here. There's options here for group and other things, but also there's I'm a little new to this. There is this, when you go to these three dots up here, for more options, there is an option of duplicate. So you can duplicate right here, and you'll see that you've got another one. Simply align them like this so that they're on the same line, and then move them to the side. So here you have your new key that you can, sorry, your new item, not key, that you can simply go and click on and go up here, change the color to the recovered, and also hold this and say recovered right there. Simple as that. The more you practice this, I think the better it goes. Malaria cases as well. I just need to create another statement for key up there, so I can scale this down a little bit and move them down. Then select this. I'll simply duplicate it so that I don't have to create a new one. Put it up here. Select everything, simply place in key right there, and I'm done. So this is going to be my key. Align it, maybe make it even bold, italic, whatever you choose. But the basic minimums. I'm not even on the premium at all. Like I'm not on Canva Pro, which is a paid subscription. This one is simply this. So just in a few short seconds, we can have our information set up like this. It is easy to download and share right there. As you can see, you can just download, you can share the link, you can present all that. We can go into a few others, maybe like for instance, we have an animate option up here. We can simply click on it, just for fun, really, to have this preview and see how it will all work. Let me zoom out a little bit so you can see it. We have the block where it just does that. A few basics, just that and that. That's rise. This is tempo, where they all just fall in place. This is pan, where they all just pan into the frame. Fade, block, yeah. And then we have a few others, maybe stomp, but those are premium. Those you would have to enjoy in a pro version of Canva. So as of now, I'll simply choose rise because it looks a little bit aesthetically pleasing to me. And I will go up here to my download. I can download a video, I can download a GIF, I can download for print, PDF, any of that. So all these are my options up here. And yeah, here I'll just take a GIF maybe. Prepare my design for download. This is impossible until it's done. Literally Canva. Okay, so as prepare as my design, I can look into, sorry, we're out of time. We can look into Infogram. Now for Infogram, this is how it looks like. It's basic. It also has a lot of sorry, let's save it right there. Infogram has almost the same setting now. Infogram is a paid, fully paid, kind of platform. You have to pay the subscription, but they can let you play around with any of these until you have to use them. Then you have to upgrade. But when I looked in it, actually, it is kind of worth the price because this is, you can go to the templates right here and look through the infographics section and you pick a template you like to use. They all look really, really appealing. So you can decide which one you'd like your data to have. They have reports as well. Yeah, so yeah, basically they have that. But since we're not here for that, we can simply just go to our let's hold on. Okay, here we are. We can choose to create one. I already had one here, but let's see. It's a little bit complex, I should say. But you know, I think we can figure this out. Let's see. Let's have a look. Okay. Let's see. Go to content library, something like that. No, you know, I'll simply go to one of the. I failed to use the one I wanted. I'll go to something I created some time back in here. This is basically a column stack chart. Sorry, let me try something. Infogram. Okay. Since I'm already here, they're talking about a lot of issues. Okay. Please find some time to go through these personally. I'll just probably, let me first delete all this and see what I can come up with. So I have something bare like this. Can can simply say add a chart, for instance. This is, I think, where I got the charts from. And I'll go through this and I'll pick my stacked chart. Now, it already comes with information in it. For instance, this already has all this information. I think it's some sort of breakdown of movies. I think there's fantasy, drama, romance. What you can do is you can go into the edit data settings. You'll find this kind of data here. And choose to delete all of this. I'll use a different data set for these ones because it was a little bit better. So I have my data set right here. I'll simply copy this, copy, go to my Infogram right here and paste. And there we are. Paste it right in there. We have our, now this one is more responsive. When you actually do hover over them, you can, this was about education, different education levels of the interviewees who were dealing with in a study. So we can get to talk about maybe Uganda, for instance. You have these are percentages here. So in Uganda, we do our respondents had 3.6% of them had a postgraduate degree, and things like that. But as you can tell from the colors, it already looks beautiful. And this one is actually more interactive because it gives you everything you need. Like, right, you just hover over it and it simply gives you that, or you can simply hover over them out here to just illuminate where they are, like education, primary education, bachelor's degree. Now, as I said earlier, this one is a payable one, and of course, it's a paid subscription. So yeah, it's a little more fancy, but when you look at their subscriptions, for instance, when you go to their downloads, to download whichever image you've created down here, they will simply tell you to upgrade, for instance, to download it. And when you look at their budgets, if you really, really would like to have one, for instance, they have maybe, I don't know, depending on your budget, this one seems a little fair to me. And for a month, maybe you have this big project you're working on and you simply need something awesome for your infographics, something awesome for your data visualizations. This can be a good sacrifice in here to simply go down and just, crush that that data, just making it look awesome and stuff like that. So yeah, it is to me, I feel it is maybe a fair price. So yeah, this is basically the two presentations I wanted to make, the one for Canva and the one for Infogram. So if we do have any questions, I think the floor is open now. We can have a chat and discuss more. Okay, I'm not sure if I can maybe open up the floor to a few questions, a few suggestions. Okay, I have a question out here. I think can someone start a full path career in data visualization and information design? And yes, I do think you can. I haven't heard of any. I think this one's from Daniel Wambi. Yes, I haven't heard of any courses that are within the country. But maybe there are some courses online. I've seen a few countries that actually have information design and data visualization to the PhD level. So you can research more about it, but I think it can also be self-taught. Many of this information design had been left to graphics designers, and you do not have to be a graphics designer anymore. As you've seen from those, you can get about a few good tutorials, maybe 5 or 6, even 10, and just create your own thing altogether. So trust me, you can, yes, take this on as a data visualization and information design career path, but at the same time, you don't even like really need to go into deep detail. Half of the work is already done. The platforms are on here on the website. Sorry, the platforms are on the web. You can just simply log in and do wonderful, amazing things. We do have one here of, do you know sites that give short courses with the 2 options presented? I think from Haman. From Haman, sorry, it's Haman. I think direct you mostly to YouTube. YouTube is actually really resourceful for one reason only, is it is pocket friendly. Basically, it doesn't take anything from your pocket. That's how friendly it is. You find a few good open data scientists on there sharing information. You can really use it. You can soak it up. So even for these 2 presentations, for Canva, for Infogram, they're easy, and you can actually simply type in, maybe in your YouTube, wherever you are, you can simply type in data visualization in Infogram, and you'll get thousands of videos about it. So try, and I'm sure you might find something. Let's see, let me look for another question in here. I think I answered some of the questions. Okay, amazing presentation. I was focusing on data visualization that I Get to search for those. Yeah, sure. You'll find a few of you who are already advanced, way more advanced than I am, who are even using Python and things like that. But yeah, this one does offer, you know, it's a good option B for when you have really fast maybe tutorials to deal with and stuff like that. So it is really, really foolproof. I think I've looked through all the questions. Thank you very much for being on this platform with me this afternoon now. I'm sorry I ran a little overtime. I'll remember to share the information here, my presentation and everything. Thank you very much for attending and have a blessed day.